Om Namaste everyone.
यद्विभाति सदनेकदा भ्रमान् नामरूपगुणविक्रियात्मना हेमवत् स्वयमविक्रियं सदा ब्रह्मतत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि ब्रह्मतत्त्वमसि भावयात्मनि. This is from Viveka Chudamani of Adi Shankaracharya. That reality which remains as one but appears as many due to delusion and assumes various forms, names, and qualities, like the gold remaining the same in various ornaments. That Brahman, the what? Please meditate on this in your mind.
How to meditate on that Brahman with your mind. First thing is, mind should know what is Brahman, isn't it? If mind doesn't know what is Brahman, it will meditate on something which is not Brahman. And the mind which meditates on Brahman actually is not a mind. Because mind is that instrument which is always using the sensory perceptions in this world to objectify, to check, to interact with this world. That is what mind is. Now, the component of mind which pays attention to the Brahman is only attention part. No need for any of these organs of perception, sense organs. It is like a tortoise which just withdraws back into itself. So all the sensory organs, all the energy dissipating from watching things, listening to things, moving for things. First, there is a thought, intention to check, to grab, interest, and then you look into those things. If that continues, and then you have to be a devotee of Brahman, it's not possible. Because all the energy is going through this projected mind outside, externally. So mind does two things. One, it is projecting this world around us and a body. And the second thing it does is it creates an I thought in this body which it has produced. And that I thought wants to interact with this world with lot of interest, lot of passion. So how can this mind, which is having a body, having a word, having an interest in things, continues this perception, how can that be interested in Brahman, which is unseen, unheard, untouched. How? So the first step is withdrawing from all these external things in this world. Without that, you cannot even start. And that is known as vairagya or dispassion. Because we are passionate for something or the other. This is the way we interact with people around us. We look for common passion and then we become friends. Running mates, walking mates, golf mates. You try to find what is common, or whiskey mates, whatever. Whatever the common interest, we always look for common interest. That means we have something. The day when you can't find one single person in this world with whom you can interact, that means you are completely into dispassion. Now you can sit with yourself. You've done with everything around you. Otherwise, we are always busy in something or the other. This is the way we start conversation with the strangers and become friend, Or what is your interest, hobbies, this, that. You talk few things and then you find a common interest and then you just blurt out whatever you have learned to impress and to become friend or whatever it is. Withdrawing back, gain some energy to pay attention to the Brahman. Brahman is not an object like the mind does. It perceives things. Mind cannot perceive Brahman like that. Most important is dispassion, vairagya. First, you have to get that energy back. It is not the 10th item to perceive. It is the only thing to perceive when all the acts of perception in this world are withdrawn. Then Bhagavan says beautifully, disinterested action, disinterested looking, disinterested everything. Disinterested doesn't mean dislike. Disinterested means you're looking but not looking, doing but not doing, no doership, no passion. And a lot of people think without passion, if you do, you will make more mistakes. No. Without passion, you are more alert, more awake, more in that energy, that pure energy. And believe me, nothing will go wrong without passion. Some people, they go to a gathering, they screen everyone from top to bottom, like a scanning and then looking again and then looking this thing and then looking into the food. Though everything they are interested, interest. What people are wearing, how they are talking, how they're looking. And they create intentions of people even if there's no intention. They keep thinking about everything. That is why for a new seeker, for a novice, it is better to avoid all types of gatherings except the satsang, where they can be more into that. But rest of the gatherings is all egoistic talk, nonsense. I'm attending an online neurology conference because that is part of the job. You have to get your CME points, CPD points to keep your registration intact. And you see, people are so passionate about what they are doing, but as a distant observer watching, some of those studies have no substance, or you think it is not going to be fruitful to the patients at the end. It is just inquisitiveness of the mind which is creating this type of study. But you see the glow in the eyes of the researcher or the scientist and how much he's passionate. That's why he's into it. That's why he's spending 20 hours a day for last 10 years. And he's publishing those papers. Only passion. And Maya creates this passion in every soul to keep us busy in something or the other. And we think we are smart in being that busy. The busyness, what it does is it never actually allows us to sit in solitude and see what is happening, what is the purpose, where I am moving. And we keep ourselves busy and the whole life is spent. And sometimes we change from one passion to other passion. So dispassion is important. If we are still passionate about things, and now we are passionate about spirituality, which is one of the 10 things I am passionate about. It's not an object to be passionate about. When you are fed up of all the objects of the world and you are only interested in your own stillness, you are interested in that reality which is the only thing. Because this dream, what the mind is showing, will keep changing. It will change the body, it will continue changing. This show is not going to end. It will not spontaneously end. Why? Because of our own interest. Our interest is the fuel to it. Interest is in form of thoughts, which actually are dependent on our previous interest in things. Just like your Spotify, Spotify knows which song you want to hear. And some people say, oh, it's so intelligent, it knows what I want to hear at this moment, because it has found out in last 10 songs what you love, and it just keeps giving you the same. Same is mind, exactly like Spotify. It gives you thoughts which either you dislike or like. In both things, it makes you involved. We are involved in only two things, rag and dvesh. Either we are gossiping about the people who are our enemies, or we are talking about our friends or attachment or family members. If you remove those two people, then there's nothing left. If there is a stranger walking, he's not giving us any problem. Only these close friends and enemies, or those are creating rag and dvesh. And the mind knows it. Mind is a superpower, much, much better than your Spotify. And it keeps giving you those thoughts. You go for things or you run away from things. It knows what makes you tickle. And we are fooled and fooled again and again by it. And it's an unending thing. If you understand even this truth, you can be free in no time. Best way to get rid of all the passion is to not engage with any thought at any time for any reason. Who can do that? And for how long? Now comes grace. Now comes your longing to know that which you don't see, you don't hear, you don't touch, you have never seen, you have never experienced. Now you want it to be your own experience, experiential knowledge. How will it happen? Same mind has to turn within to pay attention to that Brahman. And this will happen when there is vairagya, when there is no interest in anything. Actually, when you run away, that is also an interest, like you hate so much that you're running. Running to what? Then it also comes in your mind. Then you criticize people, what they are doing, and they are, not good people. And then the mind takes you to negativity of people. Then also it is a trap. To have that samdrashti, sambhav, equanimity, you can only do that when you are just observing, and all thoughts coming to the mind for anything around you is watched and dropped, not engaging. Previously, we were going for things, and now we are running away from things. In both ways, we are having some connection with things. So dispassion, vairagya doesn't mean that you have to run away. You don't hate, you're just disinterested. If things are happening, people are having party, you're not commenting on them. You are not interested, but you wish them well and let them do what they are doing. You go as a ghost and come back. Or you don't go, that's also okay. But it's not that you don't go and then someone comes and then you just ask, how was it? What were people doing? I knew that it will all be like that, and that's why I don't go. That actually makes you more connected with these things, and in a bad way. So this type of disinterested involvement in everything comes only when there is longing for that. Somehow it creates that vairagya. And if the longing is intense, you will have some experiences, sometimes burst of those experiences of stillness and bliss. And that starts keeping you more there in your heart. And then it also increases your dispassion more. And then sometime you slip out and you talk cheap in your mind, maybe with yourself or with people. People is like you're really bad in that sense. You're still talking cheap. But in mind, sometimes things might still be coming, those thoughts, and you're getting entangled with them. And then it gives you a bad taste. And you know why it does. Look, again, I am feeling not that great. And you start distancing yourself from all types of thoughts. And here comes that space in you. And that space, that emptiness is now start getting filled by that awareness, that Brahman. And even a little bit of that, fraction of that comes, all your mind wants to merge that because it is giving so much of peace. And this process, which you start very slowly and with lot of efforts, becomes so easy. And we don't have to tell anyone about this thing, this inner transformation. If people understand, just laugh to it or give a smile. But keep paying attention to this inner process. Once mind has tasted even fraction of that bliss, it wants to stay in the heart. Heart is that neutral state in us in which there is no thought, only witnessing of all forms and action and thoughts and emotions, but no me in it, no I in it, no mine in it. I, me, mine might still come because thoughts might be there still. But just observing from that, they will come, they will go. They will lose their grip on you because now you're observing from that neutral state. You can't say, I am observing. You can say, this observer is seeing that I. This would be the difference. This observer, this thing observing, I don't know what this is, but this is observing these old tendencies and habits, and even this I and something which is boiling, it is watching it, but just watching it. It's not doing anything. It's not trying to remove it or keep it, not engaging, but just watching. And this is very, very profound. It is very powerful. Don't underestimate power of this observing. This observer has no name. An observer is not personal. An observer has no tools like mind. If the observer has tools like mind, it is still ego. You have to go further in. If the observer has started commenting on all the actions of others and yours and feeling guilty or feeling proud of being so different from others or having some higher consciousness, people talk about like this, it is a higher level or something. There's no level. There's no level in it. It's not something you feel higher. Ego only feels higher about things. Ego talks about high society, hierarchy in life. This doesn't know anything. More you stay as an observer, more you are into that Brahman mode, more you feel peace and bliss. And who doesn't want to be in bliss? Once you have a knack of it, it just takes over everything, because now mind also knows where to end, where is the home. Mind merges in the source. And what is mind? Mind is everything. Everything what we see is mind, including body, including thoughts. Starts with a thought only. No thought, no mind, no word, no problem. Let's say tomorrow you get no thought for any reason. There is no problem. If you go and see a psychologist and psychologist says, okay, so what is your problem? And you start thinking, say, I am not getting any thought. I don't know. Then what was the problem yesterday? I don't know anything. There's no thought coming. How can I tell you what is the problem? Understand it is only a thought which is a problem. This body is not a problem. This word is not a problem. Some people curse body. Body is not a problem. I am the body is a problem. And in I am the body, I is the problem. See what is restless in us. It's only I. just a thought. And you start observing it and it starts finishing away. So something which perishes on observing, that means it was just unreal. No I thought in deep sleep and we are in bliss. No thought in waking state and we are in bliss. If we have no interest in anything, there can never be any thought. If, let's say, today you decide or you feel that you have no interest, and you can question me that thoughts are still there. Yes, there is some momentum from the past. But if you have no interest, then how would they disturb you? Let them come and go. Only way to pay attention to Brahman is to take away your attention from the word. Then what is left is Brahman. We wake up in morning and then the mind is active and the body moves. Watch what it wants to do, why it wants to do. Some things are mechanical. You go to toilet, you make a coffee and you sit or you dress up. Just watch these things which are having, it's all happening on auto mode. No need to think for these things. Body has pure intelligence in it. It does everything without thinking. Do you think these birds, Siberian cranes which fly thousands, they have a GPS or they calculate the distance and the flying hour and then they have a Fitbit and then they find what pace they are going? Nothing. It's just pure intelligence is moving in everything. Who can say, I can plan my day? You can plan your day, but the day goes in its own way. Then why to do excessive planning and using your mind so much? Just like you can't plan your dreams, they just come whatever comes. Same is this, everything happens. One day everything happens smoothly, other day everything you try to do smoothly, nothing happens. So it just happens. Don't make out too much out of what is happening in life, because making too much out of it is staying in your mind and thinking and analyzing and criticizing and fixing and trying to sort out. Pay attention to that where nothing is happening. Be aware of the awareness. When we are aware of the awareness, this thought process going on or things going on, everything is going on. But grip of your thoughts on you loosens up because you have no interest. And some people say, when I sit in solitude, in silence, and paying attention to awareness, I get more thoughts, and I get weird thoughts, and I get negative thoughts. And then I realize that I am so negative, or I have so many bad thoughts. And some people feel guilty about it because of identification with those thoughts. If you have no relationship, what guilt? Why do you feel bad? Let them come. They will come. At subconscious level, there is so much of that. In this fire of awareness, everything will come out, come out and will get extinguished. Let them come, let them go. No need to suppress. No need to restrain. No need to change from negative thought to positive thoughts. Just observe. I was talking to a seeker yesterday, and she was telling me that I love to be with people. So I go to pilgrimage, I attend group meetings of spiritual people. But whenever I sit at home, I have negative feeling, negative emotions. I can't be alone. I'm so scared to be alone. But we all have to face that rather than getting scared of our own thoughts. We must have fed something to our mind which is giving rise to all these crazy thoughts. Maybe not in this birth, maybe in previous births. We don't know. We are on this journey for so long. What is at subconscious level? But it will all end if we just watch it. Just observe. Don't get carried away by these thoughts, negative, positive, whatever it is. It is all external to us. We are not the mind. We are that uninvolved awareness, which was never ever involved. This is a case of mistaken identity. We thought I am the body and these thoughts are me and I'm producing it, and we showed interest, and then now it looks like we are drowned in these thoughts. But the moment you realize I am nothing, and these thoughts are not for me, I'm not interested. It's like someone is knocking on your door. If you don't open the door, then there is no conversation. So these thoughts are just coming. But if you don't want to entertain any, they will be there. They might look strong, but they will all go away. They all come to this entity called ego. They want to talk to ego. Ego talks to them. Ego is that ignorance in us. Ego is the illusion. Ego is the one which thinks these thoughts are mine, and I am this body, and I am an individual. Look how much the mind tricks us. It gives rise to whole of this world and a body, and then makes us this body, and then the word is separate. And we all are trapped in this illusion. And then we want to be free from this mind and body to attain that bliss, eternal bliss. First thing first, give up this identity of individual body, individual mind. Then we all are free. Freedom is only from this identity, nothing else. Leave the world, leave the body, wherever they are all doing the right thing. They are all in the power of that absolute, which is taking care of everything, including this body. No need of ego to take care of the body. When we are convinced with this truth, then this unfoldment happens in us. We now identify with this energy, this eternal energy. We can't name it, we can't describe it. It is indescribable. We don't even know the locus of it. We call it heart because we think it is the source, it is the center. But it is everywhere, in everything. You know in yourself and you know in everything. And you know it everywhere. And everything moves in it. But it has nowhere to move because it is everywhere. Don't listen from your mind. Be with that what it is. Recognize within you same energy, which is impartial, neutral. And which is independent of all the instruments of mind. It is before mind and all these things which perceive things in this external world. When the body speaks, body acts, awareness just watches. And in a surprise that things just happens. And then it realizes just things happens on its own. Nobody does it. Actually, some idiots, some fools thinks they are doing it. But nobody does anything. And that thing in us which thinks I am doing, I am the doer, that is ego. That is just an illusion. If I am doing everything, then so many times things are happening which I don't want. It still happens. Things happens to the body, things happens to the mind, thing happens to the situation, which the ego doesn't want. Then why it happens? If you are the controller, it is all an illusion that I am the controller. Bhagavan's theory that everything is predestined is full of compassion and grace to give rest to the mind. I'm not saying whether this is right or wrong, but if you believe in it, and if you fully believe in it, you will surrender your mind completely to it. That whatever is happening, I am no one to judge, compare, analyze. or resist, you accept. And in that acceptance, what happens? The mind merges into the self and you attain moksha. Don't worry about whether it is destiny or whether you can change it, because the moment you believe you can change it, ego becomes more stronger, because doership is there. I can do it. I am the creator of my own destiny. So we create a little kingdom of ego inside the bigger infinite kingdom of God. And we want to be the ruler. And then that which has already decided the way things, when it does not move like that, then we feel frustrated and unhappy. Then we start gathering people who appreciate this ego, and we call that gathering as our friends. And then some people who want to finish that ego, we call them enemies. But actually it is the other way around. Those all enemies are sent by God as compassion to finish your ego. But anyway, the ego wants to survive. Someone asked Bhagavan, I'm praying for so long and God is not hearing my prayers. What is the problem? Bhagavan said, the problem is that if you start listening to your prayer, you will stop praying. He wants you to be there, pray, be in that. I come across so many people who have issues in life, and when they have issues, they come, we do satsangs one-to-one, their problems are gone and they disappear. I don't see them anymore. For so many people, suffering brings them to God. How fortunate are the ones who have no suffering and still love God. How fortunate are those? There was an Indian Urdu poet, Ghalib, and he wrote beautiful poetry. He wrote in Persian and in Urdu. The only problem was he was alcoholic. He used to live in Delhi. And one day he had no money and there was no alcohol for him to drink. So someone suggested that you should pray to God. If you pray to God, He will give you whatever you want. He said, okay, if you're saying I can try that. So he went to the mosque. And in mosque, when you enter, you wash your hands. They call it wuzu. So he was doing that, and one of his friends just climbed the outer wall and showed him the bottle. He said, I got the bottle. So he just left. He said, but you entered the mosque, you should have done the prayer. He said, if the God is happy even just washing hands, why should I do further, He has listened to my washing hands. It is just the way we think about God and prayer and everything, He knows more than us about us. We can deceive people and we can deceive ourselves. Because if, we all do our assessment. Every year we have to do our own assessment for the job to continue. Who writes in that 1 to 10, 3 out of 10 or 2 out of 10? If you write that, they will get rid of you. So employee has to give numbers to yourself, and then your employer has to give you numbers. First you fill up the form, and then he has to fill up the form. Out of 10 people put 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. I think just for the shame nobody says 10 out of 10, because there's always a scope for improvement. But that's what the ego is. Understand this play, what is happening, what this individuality is, what it wants to prove to whom. This all is very clear. We know our deficiencies when we start observing. Then we stop criticizing anyone, and then we see fallacies in this whole system of ego. So we have empathy with everyone, because everyone is with the same type of ego. So many people I know, they say, I don't have any ego. If you don't have any ego, you will never be born. But this is a big ego, that I don't have any ego. Who says this? Truth is very simple, and to abide in truth is also very easy. Only thing needed is, are we really interested in it? Or we are looking into that truth because right now our life is in turmoil, or we want something, or my girlfriend has just left me, or I'm in financial crisis, or I have some other issues. Knowing the truth is not going to sort out life's issues in this body-mind complex. But it will take you there where there is no issue. Where you realize that all is just an illusion. Whether things happen this way or that way, doesn't matter. At the end of this life, this body will be dust. Whatever it has done or not done, who cares? Only thing which matters is from where we are seeing this world. Are we the seer? Are we the eye of that eye? Or are we just using these eyes, these sense organs, and perceiving things what they are showing us? Ego can say, I am a seer. But then it is using the faculty of mind all the time and suffering because of those incessant thoughts. Or you just stay in your inner stillness and watch the drama unfolding and have a laugh on all these thoughts coming to you, because you know you must have done something. That's why they're coming. Just watch them now at least. But don't accept them as your thought now. Just a dream in which you were thinking you are part of the dream. But you are always an observer. Spend as much time as you can with your own self. Whenever a thought comes to be engaged in any activity, understand that it is always a trap to keep your mind busy. It is like mind is giving you a carrot that have this, but then actually it leads to suffering only. Suffering because more thoughts, more attachment, more emotions, more reality of the mind-body complex. Many years ago, I was talking to David Godman and I just asked, what do you think is the biggest obstacle to people's freedom? And he said, busyness. Because everyone wants to be busy. People say empty mind is devil's mind. All sorts of nonsense we have created to be busy. Because the society wants us to be busy, productive. So you can pay tax, the government becomes rich, nation building, big egos building out of it. Work is not a problem and productivity is not an issue. But this rat race and competitiveness and jealousy and greed, no end to it. Ego gets bigger and bigger. And more unhappiness, more restlessness. For whom? For all these illusory forms in your own dream. Pay attention to this awareness. I thought there will be no question after speaking for an hour. Anyway, Lalita Devi ji, you can unmute yourself.
I just had a question about how to be dispassionate with children, being a mother.
Look, I am not a mother, but so mother, again, it's an attachment, mamta, which we say. Again, it comes down to first knowing who you are. If you think I am the mother, I am the body, and these kids are my kids, and again it comes to I and mine, isn't it? So you have to work internally on you only. Let that attachment be there. Work internally to be in that awareness. Be aware of the awareness. Because what you're saying, passionate about kids, is your own attachment, mamta with kids, moho. And that is because of this, your own connection with body, as I am this body, and this body has given birth to these, so they are mine. It is the extension of your own I into the form of kids. So understanding this, but practicing to be watching all these emotions and thoughts which are coming. It is a process. It takes time. It is your internal work. As other passions and other attachments will drop, this will also drop. And this doesn't mean that you will not love them. You will love more. Your love will be more. Your love will be without any attachment. Love without attachment is much better than love with attachment. Because with attachment, sometimes we want them to do which is our own goal or aim of life, which we couldn't fulfill, and then we want to implicate through our kids, like pushing them into something which is not good for them. This is just our own ego satisfaction. So I believe working within, internally on you, is the answer to everything. Whether attachment to kids or attachment to money or attachment to spouse, it's all same thing. But sometimes people think that, if this attachment goes away, then I can't take care of kids.
Yeah, that's what I felt. Just another thing, I think.
It's not that, Then maybe you would be in more loving kindness, but not worried. People think if I love, I should be worried if they're late at home. And we always think negative about every situation. This is all attachment. And attachment is actually selfishness, because it does it only for your own kid because you're attached, not with the neighbor's kid. If they are late or something, you don't care. You only care about my family, my kids, no? My comes in everything. And that causes more suffering than actually helping anyone. And one day, if they don't reciprocate, then we suffer. Then we say, I did this, I did that, and they are not even talking to me, or they have not done this to me. So anything you do for anyone without attachment, there's no expectation out of it. This is the beauty of non-attachment. Anything we do with attachment, these are my close friends, I do, then you expect. And when they don't give, then you feel bad. Move from this love with attachment to unconditional love. This is that energy. It is very pure energy. Trust it. Have full trust, full faith in it. Thank you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, everyone.